Hi everyone and crystal blessings. Today's video is coming about because I've had so many people reach out to me recently and ask what crystals you can use when dealing with negative people. So this is something that's really challenging because a lot of us immediately reach for protective crystals when we feel like there's negativity in our environment. Well, when you really think about energy, energy is just energy. There's energy that we call positive and there's energy that we call negative, but it's all just energy. And for most of us, a good way to kind of think about this is that positive energy serves your highest good and negative energy is just other energy that doesn't really serve you. So when we talk about removing negative energy, we're really talking about just clearing the kind of extra energy that's in the space that's not really serving our higher good or higher purpose. So when you're dealing with a, quote, negative person, this can often take the form of just bringing a lot of different kind of energy into your space or into your field that's not really to your benefit, that you don't really need in your space. So some crystals that I recommend for helping deal with this include selenite. So this is a nice little selenite tower. This is from Morocco. If you know that you're going to have an encounter with someone who's a little bit draining of your energy or really difficult to deal with, you might want to consider just placing a selenite in the room ahead of time so that it's there to kind of keep the space cleansed, keep the energy flowing so that all of that excess energy that's really not for your highest good is removed from the space. Another crystal that I recommend to help with this is pink halite. So pink halite's also very cleansing, but it's also a really heart-centered stone. So it's a very soft pink. It has a great energy for showing compassion. So when you have someone who's being really negative or kind of is just a crabby, cranky person all the time, pink halite is wonderful because it allows you to hear that person and have empathy for them and hold space for them. And a lot of times you'll find that the energy in your space will actually shift if you just show someone a little bit of empathy and compassion. Most of the time for a really negative person, that's actually what they're looking for and craving. They just really don't know how to communicate that in any other way. So oftentimes they'll reach out by things like complaining and griping and moaning or kind of being nasty or crabby. And really it's just they just need some compassion and empathy from someone. So if you can approach it from a heart-centered place, have your pink halite on hand to help promote that in yourself and as a good reminder to work with that person with compassion and empathy and hold space for them in their healing. Now, the other stone that I really recommend is Rutilated Smoky Quartz. So sometimes when people enter your space, for instance, I find this happens a lot. There are a lot of people who think that, there are just like bad entity attachments on them or around them or in their space. And what I've found from my personal experience, and I know not everyone would agree, is that a lot of times, and not every time by any means, but a lot of times, when someone feels like, they are always kind of crabby and icky and they have an entity on them, really, it's not that they have an entity on them from the space. It's just their own negativity that they're carrying around with them. So in order to kind of counteract some of that sort of energy, that's where the Rutilated Smoky Quartz really comes in handy. The Smoky Quartz is really grounding, and it also helps disintegrate that negative energy or misqualified energy. And then the Rutilated Quartz break up any stagnant energy that might be in the space. So that those rutile crystals are great for breaking it up, and then the smoky quartz helps to dissolve it and ground it out so that it's no longer in your space. This is especially true for people who do feel like they have a lot of entity attachments on them. So for example, if you're a healer and you have someone come to you that says that they have an entity or they picked up an entity somewhere, then the Rutilated Smoky Quartz is great for that. Because again, most of the time, and again, not always, but most of the time, those feelings of having an entity are really just coming from your own personal unhappiness or negativity that that person's carrying around with them. And so that's where the Rutilated Smoky Quartz can really, really come in handy. And you can just kind of have this in the space if the person's entering your space. If you're working with them in a healing capacity, you can actually try making small counterclockwise circles wherever the entity attachment is supposedly found. Really what that more than likely is just stagnant negative energy that needs to be released. So small counterclockwise circles and then pull that gently out away from the energy body to help release some of that energy. The other thing that you can do is actually comb or sweep through the aura by passing the crystal through the auric field, and that will help disintegrate and dissolve and break up some of that negative energy as well. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this helped with a little bit of information on protective energy, cleansing your space, and holding compassion for those crabby people in your life.